Hi guys, it is Q&A Thursday. Lori Hollander here.
Bob Hollander here as well.
And we got 2 questions this week, so we thought we would answer both.
Yes.
So here's number 2. And this is something that is common in relationships that we see. A woman writes in and says, my relationship is going really well. I've been dating this person for over a year, and yet they have different feelings about posting that on social media.
Yeah.
On the one hand, privately, this guy expresses to her how much he loves her and how he's committed and talks about getting married at some point. And yet won't change his status on Facebook, has friends on Facebook that are women, and he's been single for a while, so these are probably women who think of him as single, even if they're not girlfriends.
That's true.
Or they might be old girlfriends.
They could
They
be.
could.
They have a certain status.
And he does not want to post anything about us.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel hurt. What should I do?
You need to go to therapy.
Wait.
The reason.
Answer the question.
Okay, what should you do? And I say that because whenever something doesn't make sense in the present, you have to look at the past. And you have to take a look at parts of him that still reside in the past. He still might be single, and he still has these relationships in his mind, and maybe he doesn't want to change them. And there might be a part of him, a very significant and substantial part of him, that is afraid of commitment. Now, it sounds contradictory, doesn't it?
Well, from her point of view, Bob, I think she feels like she's getting mixed messages.
Yeah.
On the one hand, this person's saying, I love you, I'm committed. On the other hand, the person doesn't want to announce it to the world, because that's really what Facebook is.
Right.
So to her, it's confusing.
It is confusing.
And it hurts because she wants to shout about it from the rooftops.
Absolutely.
I love you.
I think that's right. But it's less confusing to her when she can understand where he's coming from, and he has to understand if he can make sense of it and says, well, that might be it. I have a part of me that can't commit. But there's also the need for him to realize, well, what is the impact upon her?
Exactly. So these 2 folks need to really dig deeper and try to understand what is underlying the mixed message here, and have more empathy for each other.
Right.
So each person has to gain some insight into what it means to them about posting on Facebook, and then they have to share that with each other.
It's like I think this is where his insight, introspection is important.
Yes.
But he also has to understand that there's another part to this relationship, and he can understand it, but it impacts her. And this is and so when you have these 2 things, now you can talk about it, because now I think you have it out there.
Right. So it's important to be genuine. It's important to acknowledge the mixed messages. And it's also important for each of them to really learn more about what this means to each other.
Right. It's like, for instance, if she's pushing him, he becomes defensive, and he does not vulnerable enough to be introspective with him, and it's hard for him to work into his her world, to think and feel himself into her world.
So it becomes more a conflict about who's right and who's wrong, or is it going to be your way or my way, when really it's important for both people to be more curious about what does it mean to you.
Exactly.
What's going on? Let's just have a conversation about it in terms of trying to understand and dig deeper, instead of just trying to make this a tug of war.
Yeah, and so in other words, embracing the whole dynamic and saying, these are the parts here. Now, what do we do about that?
Okay. And if you can't do that, it would be great to come see us.
Or someone else, you know.
Whoever you want to
That's
see.
right. They're not as good as us, but well, some are. Okay.
All right. Hope that's helpful.
Right.
And send us your questions
Yeah.
to info@relationshipswork.com.
It makes us think.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really awesome.
Yes.
So thank you for sending them in. Take care, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.